Now that we've generated our cone, there's a few things we want to do before we can shape this. The first thing I want to do is I want to change the edge cables that NDN laid down for me from constant length, which is this pink, to constant force, which is the purple color that you see on our radio cables. So to do that, I'm simply going to come over to Type in the model environment and then select Constant Force. And then to change these, I will select String, and I'll just run around each side of my structure, changing these by string from constant length to constant force. Again, click on the first element in a string, the last element in a string, right-click, and all of the elements in between get picked up. Do the last one. Now I have all of my cables as constant force, and what that's going to do is allow my cables to bend and take an equilibrium shape as we go through and shape our entire structure. Next on my list, I want to go ahead and rotate our structure here because I have yet to do anything to connect our bail ring to the rest of our framework. So let me zoom in here, and I'm quickly just going to add a very simple crossbar type setup to connect this bail ring to the rest of the framework for this umbrella. So to do that, I'm going to come over to Generate. You could do this a number of different ways, but I'm going to select Generate, Beams, 2 sections, and then I'm just going to run these straight across in line with our radio cables. So I'll select the starting point, the ending point, right-click, do the same thing on the other side, right-click, let's go ahead and do a double-click, zoom extent, get out of there. Next on the list, I want to go ahead and assign my material and section properties as well as my pre-stresses. So to do that, I simply need to come up to the setup environment, and then you can see from an earlier video, we've gone ahead and we've read in all of our library files. So I now just need to come over to default properties. All of that information is read here, and I simply need to click on assign property sets, assign pre-stresses, and click OK. And NDN has now automatically gone through and assigned, let's review this real quick, for my cables, our pre-stress, our material properties, our section properties. Let's jump down to membrane. We've got our pre-stress, our material properties, class 3 PVC. We can come over to the struts. There's my material and section properties for my struts. If we go to look at pre-stress, I get nothing. That's accurate. Struts don't carry any pre-stress. So we have all of our material and section properties as well as pre-stress set up just by doing those 2 clicks. I'll go ahead, come up and turn this off. Now let's just go in and check our node degrees of freedom real quick. To do that, I'm going to come over to the property environment and just click on node DOF for node degrees of freedom. And this will highlight any nodes that have been given specific degrees of freedom. And you can see the only node that got highlighted is our one node in contact with the ground. And NDN went ahead and did that for us automatically. So that's good. I'll back out of this, come back to the model environment. And now the only other thing we need to do is divide our model up into layers. So to do that in the model environment, I'm going to come down and click on the layer management button. Opens up all of my layers. Now you can see I've created layer names, but I haven't assigned anything yet. And that's why everything is highlighted white on this layer 0. So let's run down this list real quick and assign everything. So let's click on arms, which is my first layer. And just to make this easier to look at, while we assign the top half of this list, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my geodesics and turn off my membrane. So now I can see the substructure a lot better. So for my arms, let's go assign. I'll do this beams by string. I'll grab both of these sets of arms. Okay, click down. My bail ring, I'm going to put this in a side view. Then I'm going to go assign beams. This time I'm going to assign that by window. And in a side view, I can just grab all of the beam elements in my bail ring just like that. All right, perfect. Those are assigned. Let's go ahead and put us back in an ISO view. Zoom extent. Go down. My braces. Those are my struts. We'll go assign struts all. Down. My column. That's my central post. We'll go assign beam by string. Grab this again. There. Okay, right click. That's assigned. Let's go down. Now I've got my edge cables. Let's assign these cables by string, and I'll just run around and do all 4 edges of this structure real quick. Okay. Down. Radio cables, I'll do the exact same thing again. Assign cables by string. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Click down my offsets. Those are my little beam offsets in every corner. So I'll assign those beam individually, and I'll just grab those individually. Okay, right click twice when I'm done. My fabric, I need to go ahead and now turn back on my membrane, my geodesics. Now I will go assign membrane all, click down. Now I noticed I messed up my name here. This was supposed to say geodesics, but it says layer 0. So I just forgot to type that in. So I can do that right now. I'll just put geo. Let's go assign geodesics all. Go ahead and click finish. Okay, we're done assigning our layers. We want to give that a real quick review. Start back up at layer 0. There's nothing on it. I can just click down through all of my layers. They're my arms, bail ring, braces, column, edge cables, radio cables, my offsets, my fabric, and my geodesics. Go ahead and click finish. All right, so we are now good to shape this structure.